Alright, so this is an action figure review of the Reverse Flash from the Flash TV series. This is part of the Collect and Connect Justice Buster set that was published as part of the DC Comics Multiverse line. This set includes 6 characters. Those 6 are the Batman Zero with the purple gloves, Joker, the Arrow, the Superman from Earth 23, the Flash from the TV show, and also the Reverse Flash from the TV show. And whenever you collect all of them, it creates this Justice Buster figure. So this guy actually includes the torso and like pelvic area of the Justice Buster figure. So this character you'll definitely need if you're trying to build that character, the like core piece to collect everything else. So you might be able to, pose him missing an arm or something, but you're not missing a torso. So, all right. So this character is from the newer Flash TV show. He's got the yellow costume with the red lightning bolts and stuff instead of, the Flash has the red costume with yellow lightning and all that jazz. The box is just like the other one. If you look at the Joker video that I put up earlier this week, they're in the same box as part of the same line. So it's like a display-friendly box. Has the cool display here, the plastic that you can see through. It has the accessories on the side. Fit that gigantic torso in there. Has a picture of the character from the story that it was inspired by. So this is from the Flash show. It has the name tag right there, and then it has the Collect and Connect Justice Buster set listed there. The top just says DC Comics Multiverse right there, and then it has a Flash tag right there showing that it's from the Flash show. Side also shows a picture of the character from the show as well as a name and basically breakdown of information. So real name, Eobard Thawne. He's from Central City, and his motivation is stranded in the 21st century, trying to regain connection to the Speed Force. So if you watch the show, that's all accurate there. Has a quick description there of what the multiverse line is, which is basically like a bunch of characters from different stuff. So from comic books, TV shows, the animated movies, and video games. So you'll have like a whole bunch of different versions of Batman, which is pretty cool. Instead of just trying to derive from comic books and stuff, even this line is from a bunch of different stuff. It's like the original Batman with the purple gloves and guns and stuff. Joker from Endgame. These guys are from the newer TV shows, and this guy's from Earth 23. They've actually been doing quite a bit with him recently, I think. And then here's just basic multiverse Flash referenced right there. And this character doesn't come with any accessories except for those pieces for the Justice Buster. Basically DC's Hulkbuster, but yeah, it's the Justice Buster. But yeah, as a character, he doesn't really have any accessories. But I did like how his hands are actually open so that you could put an accessory or something in there if you wanted. We'll go over that though whenever we have the box open and everything. But I know a lot of Speed Force characters usually, they have the closed fists like a Flash running or something. Kind of takes away part of their versatility. You can't put anything in those hands, but this guy you can, so that's pretty cool. Alright, so now we're going to open up the box and review the figure by Articulation and paint job and everything. So like I had said in a previous video, this guy doesn't open from the top, doesn't have a seam right there, so you actually have to cut some tape and open it from the side. Once you open it from the side, you're able to just slip all that stuff right out of there. So, boop, right there. Whenever you open the box up, there are no twist ties holding any of these pieces in. It's just held pretty securely by the dips and grooves in the plastic. So it's actually kind of tough to get like the character's arms and stuff specifically out of there. So there he is. And we'll move this stuff out of the way. I'm super excited about this Justice Buster set. I actually wouldn't be collecting this whole set if it weren't for that. I really like Collect and Connect, and I've only actually succeeded with one whenever I was like super long time ago. I finished Collect and Connect from Marvel Legends, the Galactus set. Ended up selling it way long ago, but that's the only one I finished, so I'm on a mission to try to finish this one as well. So, alright, so just right out of the box, first thing I've noticed in comparison to the Joker figure, this character seems to be, I don't know, a little less heavy duty. Like the The other character I felt like was more... he had more weight to him. Plastic didn't feel as cheap. I'm sure that it's the same because it's from the same line, but maybe it's the coat. The other guy has like a rubber coat and everything. Probably adds a little bit of weight that I'm noticing a difference in. So bringing him right up here, though, I'm going to go over some articulation. So starting with his arms, he's got a... looks like he's got actually a very limited double joint here. So he's able to turn it like this, no problem. But it actually doesn't raise very far. You can see that it doesn't even have, here, zoom this in. It doesn't even have the 90-degree pivot joint visible here, which you'd usually be able to see it if you had like a decent range of motion, because you'd be able to move it up further. But you can see it underneath. It looks like it kind of pops into a socket there, but the socket's deep to where it restricts that shoulder movement. So he doesn't get a whole lot, but for the character, you know, you'd get a decent running pose off of that, I guess. His arm, elbow, I mean, it also has a double joint. You can rotate it, and it can also turn like that. So you can get about a 90-degree pivot there, which is better than the Joker figure. The Joker figure's, he could probably about go to right there. So he actually already has a little bit better range of motion. And then their wrists are also on a pin joint, so you could just turn those right around, which is pretty cool. And then both arms are the same. He's got a pivot at the waist, although that's pretty tight. I'm sure you could work that in, but I think his belt might be a little bit in the way. And also, you turn it too much, it's going to look unnatural anyway. So he's just a thin character, so you can't get away with a whole lot. Fortunately, the Joker had the coat that was covering up his waist pivot, so he didn't really have anything that was revealed or anything. Character can also pivot the leg out at the thigh there and forward and back. So it can go like that, and it can also go out to about 90 degrees, so that's pretty good. Again, the notch in the middle to make the pelvis look natural whenever he's in like a normal position. It kind of looks strange if you pivot it out because it's got the like a cut into the leg, but it's pretty good. And then he's got a knee joint there, and right above that knee joint he's got a pin joint that allows you to turn the leg at the mid-thigh. And then his last piece of articulation there is a piece here at the ankle. So you can move the foot forward and back. And then his head is able to rotate as well. So here we've got... That feels a little bit tight. It feels unusual, and it's not on a ball joint either. The other character wasn't either. It's only able to turn back and forth. You're not able to... it looks like his head actually goes a little bit side to side, but I think that's because it's loose, not because it is supposed to. Because it can't go backwards or forwards or anything, so... I think it might just have restricted movement because of the way the head joint is cut. It might actually be on a ball. Just doesn't really have any way to utilize the whole movement. So yeah. So he could turn though. It seems pretty good. It's got a decent number of articulated points there, and he stands decently. Again, the character is supposed to be, like the 7-inch scale, and they, in height, look comparable to the old DC Universe Classic stuff, but they just seem a lot more thin, like a lot smaller of a figure. And I'm not sure why that is, because they're supposed to be the same scale. They look proportionally good. It's just they're just thinner characters. It's strange. So, yeah, because he's pretty thin, but... Alright, so talking about paint job now. It looks like they did a decent job with their like fine detail. So most of this guy isn't painted either. It looks like his base color is the yellow that's covering most of his torso and head. And then his eyes there, you can see it's got kind of like a gradient area around the eyes to have like kind of a shadowed red look. And that is a good effect. It doesn't wash into his eyes or anything. His eyes are clearly painted white, and it doesn't look like it has any overflow there, so that's pretty nice. And you know, it's always good when you're not dealing with pupils either. It looks like the paint of his skin is also right within its lines. You don't have any overflow of that, and it's a pretty even coverage. There's no spots that you can see through or that have been scratched off before it was opened. His ears, these little red ear plates, it looks like they could have been done a little bit better. You can see that there's a little overflow here at the lightning bolt as it extends past the circle. Kind of goes onto the head a little bit. Down here you can see that there's a little bit of yellow at the end of the lightning bolt that wasn't painted all the way. On the other side, it just looks like it's not tight lines. It's not as tight of a line as it should be around that circle. You can see at the top it has a little bit of speckling on the yellow. So it looks like they did a good job on the front of the face, but on the sides didn't seem to look as much into detail. And it has this black line that goes right down the chest. It seems like a very tight line. I think that was more of a print sticker rather than paint. It looks a little too tight to just be a line of paint there, but the emblem on the chest is also well painted. Although it's similar to the ears in style, it seems like since it's going to be like, you know, central focus of a character, they put a lot of detail or a lot of work into making that look good. So the black seems to be within its bounds, and the red seems to cover both tips of lightning bolt, and it is a tight circle around that edge. There's a little bit of yellow that can see through right here. Looks like it was a little bit of scratching on the emblem, but you might not be able to see it. It's a small dot right there. But other than that, he looks pretty good. As you move down, and also on the sides there, you have these tight red lines. Those look to be done pretty well. And then he has the black that go under black like triangles that go under his armpits. And you can see the black triangles aren't as well done. You can see that there's like kind of a waving edge right there. Doesn't cover the whole part where it's supposed to be molded out into that piece. And on the back also, a little bit of speckling, and it doesn't look like they covered the whole piece right there. There's yellow. And you could tell that's part of the triangular mold there that should have been covered in black, but isn't. And then you have these gradients, which I think looks pretty cool from a distance. Gradients going down to his black boots. It starts to get more and more like dark as you go down the figure. And also the gloves. So you have kind of like a gradient there. It looks like a smoky black going down to the black plastic of the gloves. And it looks decent. You can definitely tell that it's a similar effect to the costume that the guy's wearing in the show. So that looks pretty good. And gradient also right there going on his pelvis there. And then as it goes down the legs, it doesn't look like the back of his legs were evenly done. This one is darker than this one. But on the front, you could tell that it's pretty even. Although maybe not in the same spots. It looks like there's more yellow on the front of these pants, where this one's more like on the side. But gradient looks good. And then the boots at the bottom are just painted straight black. And then you have these little red pieces right here that are painted, and those look pretty good. Those are also within their mold lines, it seems. So, in all, I would say that this figure is, I don't know, I was expecting a little bit more just because of that, how good that Joker figure had turned out. This character feels a little bit more cheaply done. It's kind of disappointing that his arms don't extend out as much, and also turning his head, it just feels flimsy. Like, as you turn him, I feel like there's a little bit of resistance inside, like something inside is twisting with it that shouldn't be. Almost like the ball joint is about to snap off as you're turning his head. Like a little peg that they have in there that goes within that socket on the inside of his head. Feels like it's just gonna pop right off. He's gonna twist off, and that's kind of, I don't know, disturbing. I don't want his head to just randomly pop off. So, yeah, but he's a good figure. I'd rate him a little bit below the Joker figure, and that might just be the Joker figure didn't have as much paint. He really is only his face was painted. The rest of him was like dark business coat type thing. So there wasn't as much detail to be picky about, and that weight from the coat also added a little bit of sturdiness. It seemed the character seemed a little bit more put together. But he's definitely a cool character. It seems like he is the hardest of all of them to get. You can, I actually had thought that these parts, him, Superman from Earth 23 and the Zero Batman, I thought those were going to be the, like, I didn't even think they'd come out yet. But this guy, I could only find one of him. And by the time I finished looking, I had found probably like 5 Earth 23 Supermans, and I had found like I don't know, probably about the same number of Batman Zero, but this is the only character that I could find of Reverse Flash, so it seems difficult to find in my area, at least. Maybe there are, plethora of them. It's somebody else's, I don't know, but he seemed hard to get, so I had to pick him up as soon as I saw him. So, if you think that there was anything in here that should have been talked about a little bit more, or you'd like me to touch on something that I didn't talk about at all this time, just go ahead and leave that in the comments, and I will try to respond to that in the next video. And also, if you guys have any recommendations of a figure that I should pick up that you'd like to see reviewed, go ahead and leave that in the comments as well. I'll see what I could do, pick it up. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.